Hey guys, this is Akshay Nadan and welcome back to a new video. And in this video, we'll be completing this marketing crew. Completing means we'll be running this crew and I'll show you what are all the components of the crew that we did not complete in the last video. So let's get started. So first of all, in the last video, we had already created these three agents in the config file: research agent, writer agent, and reviewer agent. All of these agents were assigned some of the tasks, right? So basically they can actually go on the web, search about a topic based on the current year so that the information is not outdated, and then it can write a blog or a content piece, and finally it reviews it itself and then gives me the final output in a markdown file. So for that we need to complete this crew. So let's start writing this crew file from the scratch. Okay, so first of all, I need to get some import statements. So from CrewAI, I'll say import agent, import task, import crew. Okay, and also import a process. Right, I'll show you what's the importance of this process. Okay, now the next thing that I need to do is from CrewAI dot project import crew base. So these are, whatever I'm importing are some of the decorators. Now the importance of these decorators also you will understand in a bit. Import agent decorator, import task decorator, and import crew decorator. Okay, so then CrewAI dot tools, CrewAI tools import serper dev tool. So basically this serper dev tool we can actually use for doing the web search. Okay, I think we have to install CrewAI tool, so I'll do it if it does not work. Then I need to, I think that's it for now. And let's start writing down a class. So I'll say marketing crew, right? And it is going to have a decorator crew base, so that as soon as you define this decorator, the class below it will be considered as a crew class. Okay, and this crew class should have agents, task, and a crew. Okay, so let's just define that. Then you already know that we defined these two files over here for agents and tasks. So we need to get these two files in our crew class. So I'll say agents config slash agents.yaml, and then task config is equal to config slash task.yaml. Great. And now let's start defining the agents one by one, then the task, and then the crew. So I'll again use a decorator which we imported from here, agent, so that then the function which is defined just below it will be considered as a agent function. So over here I'll say def, the first agent that we had is a research agent. So I'll use the same name and define it over here. And this function is going to return me an agent. Okay, so return an agent. The name of this agent is research agent. Again, you can go inside this agent class and see which all parameters it can take. Okay, so because I'll not be able to cover all the parameters, like this LLM, right, like this function calling. So this LLM means you can also define, by default CrewAI uses a GPT-4 model, right, by OpenAI. But let's say you want to use Gemini model, right? So over here you can actually define a particular LLM for this agent, so that you don't have to depend on one single LLM for all the agents, right? Let's say this is a summarizing agent. So summarization is usually done better by the Gemini models. So you can define Gemini model over here in the LLM parameter, right? Great. So serper dev tool we have defined for the tool, name and description we have defined, and now let's go ahead and define the next agent. The next agent is going to be the writing agent. Okay, so it does not need to have a tool. So okay, so it will just have a name, writing agent, and the description. One thing that we missed over here is to define the config. So if we define the config, there is no need of this name and description. So I'll say config is equal to self.agents config. Add the research agent. Okay, let's use this config parameter and define it over here also. Okay, so this will be writing agent. Okay, that's it. And we can also define verbose as true, so that it keeps logging whatever this agent is doing. So I'll say verbose is true. Great. So second agent is also defined. Now let's just define the next agent, which is the reviewer agent. Okay. So yes, like this, and I'll say def review agent, reviewer agent, and it takes this. Let's just confirm the exact name. Yes, this is correct, and let's just use it. Okay. So all the three agents are now defined. The agent which needed a tool, we have given it the tool, and now let's just define the task. First of all, we are going to have research task. So it returns a task. Again, you can go inside this task and see which all attributes it takes. So it takes an agent, description, name, output file, output JSON, output parentic. So this means that your task, what is the expected output from this task, right? So in this expected output parameter, you can actually clearly define what type of expected output you want, right? If you want a file, then you give a file path where you want to store the output of that file. If you want a JSON, then give it a structure sample JSON so that it returns the output in the same structure. If you want a Python model, then give it a sample Python model so that it understands the structure, right? List of tools. So all of that you can give it as a parameter. So I've given it configuration, then agents, verbose is true. Let me just give it a tools also, SerperDev tool, because this task will be completed after doing a web search itself, and that's it, right? The next thing is writing agent and the review agent, and let's just remove this Crew for now. So writing task we have defined, and let's just say output file is equal to output.md, because if you see the task configuration, we have told that the output will be markdown. So I need to define an MD file, and the final output will also be in my markdown file. Now this is all right, and now let's just define the crew. So add crew, and it is going to have a crew. Configuration is not required, and this is also not required. So first thing is we need to say agents. So agents will be self.agents. Task will be this. Process will be process we already imported at the top, will be sequential. So sequential process means when your agents have to perform a task one after another. So in our case, the flow will be one after another itself. First the research, then writing, then reviewing, right? Otherwise, you can also have like concurrent task, like when your agents can perform the task parallelly, okay, or concurrently, right? Then you can define those processes, right? You can see hierarchical and sequential. We have two, so we can use sequential for this purpose. Great. So this is done. I think we are good to go. And our agents need two outputs. If you see, one is this topic and then this current year. Go to the main.py file, and over here we need to import marketing crew, and I will replace this content writing crew with the marketing crew because that is the name of our class, and it's done. I am providing topic as AI LLMs because I want my output to be generated on this topic, AI LLMs, and current year I have provided the current year. So these are the inputs that I'm providing it to my crew. So marketing crew.kickoff with these inputs. Great. So let's just save it and let's try to run it. So you can see, first of all, I'll activate my virtual environment. So source.venv/bin/activate, and I'll say CrewAI run. One mistake I did in my crew.py, I defined writing agent over here, but actually the name of the agent is writer agent. So I'll go and fix it, and I'll fix it. Okay. The next agent was reviewer agent, and that is correct, right? So you have to use the same name because because I faced an issue, so that's why I found this mistake, right? And rest should be good. And over here also I'll say writer agent. And one more mistake that we did over here is this agents will be self.agents, not self.agent config, because we have already defined these decorators like agent and task. So like these decorators will help us accumulating all of these agents as self.agents, right? And this will also be self dot tasks. Okay, now if I just try to run it, and now you can see my agent is working fine. And let's see where it is. Okay, I forgot to add Serper API key, so that it means it will fail, right? So, but yeah, let's see the logs, and we'll add the Serper API key, and then we'll rerun it. So first of all, this is the first agent that got triggered. Agent AI LLM's marketing content researcher, right? This was the task that it got. Conduct a thorough research about marketing content on AI LLMs. Make sure you find any interesting and relevant content that is given the current year is 2025. So it got the parameters correctly. Then it failed because it does not have web access API key. So agent tool execution, tool code, I need to search on the internet for marketing content. It thought, and it is trying to make an action, right? Remember all the things that we learned in the React agent video. Okay, so it got this search query for the Serper tool, marketing content AI LLMs 2025, right? It got this tool output, encountered error while trying to use a search tool because API key is missing, which is all right. Agent final answer, and because it did not make the tool call, the web search, it said okay, it is fine, and I'll whatever I know, I'll generate it on my own. So it got it made some content, right? And then next agent, which is content writer agent, got triggered, and it got it wrote this final output introduction. It basically wrote a complete blog, right? And then at the end, the reviewing expert, so it reviewed the content, made some suggestions and improvements for the marketing content, and it rewrote the blog again. And this is our final output. So let's say if in the marketing crew we got output.md, you can see we got output.md, right? And this is a beautiful blog. So let me just open it up. Okay, there is some issue opening this MD file. So I'll just copy this markdown, and I'll just say on the internet markdown online preview, and I'll go to this markdown live previewer. I'll remove this, I'll paste it. Okay, there is some issue. Let's see, is this the issue? Let's remove this. Yes, you can see our agent, our AI agent, wrote this complete blog piece, suggestions and improvements. Yeah, this is fine. Enhancement it did, unlocking marketing potential with AI LLM and application. Each subsection, it needs more. Okay, so this is actually not the final content. This is basically the improvements from our writing, from our reviewing agent. So I think if I change the file name, if I go back, I'll remove this. First of all, now let's just try to complete this. First of all, I need to have the Serper API key. Serper API key. Go to this Serper, sign in, and I'll say API keys. I will copy this API key. I'll go back and paste it over here. No need to copy it. I'll remove it. And let's go to crew.py, and over here I'm going to make changes in my output. This will be improvements.md, and this will be output.md, because our agent is going to make changes to the output, and these will be the improvements.md. If you think that agent is not working as per your expectations, all you need to do is go to your agents and task config and try to play with the prompts. There itself the logic is written. Okay, these are just like configurations, not the logic, right? The logic is there in agent and task itself. Whatever you are commanding there, that is only happening over here. Okay, now we have written the Serper API key. Now it should be able to get access to the internet. So I will clear and try to run the crew again. First task, first agent, it got the output, so it made a tool call and searched the internet with the Serper. It made the tool call, went to the internet. You can see the articles also, right? And this is the tool execution, tool output, right? Agent final answer. So this is all correct. And let's go down. Final answer. This is the markdown that got generated. This is the content writer output. Content agent started, the final reviewing expert. These are the improvements, right? And this looks good. So if I see now, I got two files, output.md, which contains my output, article, and improvements, the suggested improvements that it is suggesting me to do. Okay, great. So this looks good. The next thing that we should cover is train function. So basically, when you want to deploy your CrewAI agent to production, you don't want to just depend on one or two test cases that you tried, right? Or only one or two iterations. You want the CrewAI to run 5-10 times so that you can observe the agent outputs, so that you are sure that whenever your agent is deployed to production, you actually know what you should expect, right? Or it is tested properly. So what we can do over here, in the number of iterations, I can define, let's say 2 for now, and it will run the crew on the same input twice, and it will generate a pickle file. It will be just like a model, right? So that reinforcement learning, where the AI runs on its own, observes the output and the results, and then it tries to improve itself, right? So similar way, it is going to run the crew twice for now. In actual cases, it can be a very big number, and it will keep on improving itself, right? Or it will generate a pickle file which I can use for any other purpose also. So I will keep the topic as AI LLMs, and I'll also provide current year. So now let me try to run it. Okay, so agent started and it is trying to complete the task. Training mode, provide feedback to improve the agent performance. Please provide detailed feedback. So over here I can provide a feedback also. Hey, I did not like this, that, or you just be descriptive, right? So for now I'll just say it's good to go. Okay, and now it is moving ahead. The second agent, writer agent, let's see. And now I need to provide the feedback. So I'll say we can improve on the writing style. It can be more professional. Okay, and now it is processing my feedback, and then it is going to the third agent, and in the next iteration it will try to improve, right? It's good to go. I'll say it's good to go, but you can actually be genuine and you can provide real feedback. Okay, then only your AI agent will improve. So it is done. Now this is the second iteration. I'll say good to go. Now let me just do it and see the end result. And over here I can see training data.pickle file, trained agents data.pickle file, right? So this is good, and I hope you like this video. We also have some more functions like replay and test. You can try on your own, or we can also see them in the next video. Great, so I hope you enjoyed this video and try to build some interesting agents. Tag me on LinkedIn if you are posting about them, and the link of this code you will find in the description. See you in the next video.